The Windy City Ghostbusters started probably about 5 years ago with my then boyfriend, Chris, and a bunch of his friends.
They're married now.
Yes, they're married now. And it just started out as sort of a really cool Halloween costume, and we found out there was a group of local Ghostbusters who just, hung out and did various events. Eventually, we ended up starting our own group, and I think there's probably 4 groups of Ghostbusters in the city of Chicago and the surrounding area at this point. Myself, I have an interesting history. My dad was one of the artists for Slimer comics in the 80s and 90s, so I was really into Ghostbusters as a kid and just kind of forgot about it until I started dating someone who decided he wanted to be a Ghostbuster, and suddenly it has just avalanched from there.
I'm the noob. I grew up with Ghostbusters, loving it, but I really actually started cosplaying after the reboot, which I just connected to on a level. Ever since I was a child, I was waiting for a movie of female almost superheroes that were smart and involved in the sciences and were also funny. So that movie just really changed a lot for me, and I really looked up to those characters. So I started cosplaying, and I met Bob and I think it was Joe. I met them at C2E2. And they were just so welcoming. I was really nervous about joining the Ghostbuster cosplay group because there's some of them are really weird about the reboot, but they were just so wonderful and welcoming. I think Joe had his reboot pack on, and I felt like I really could be a part of something, and so it kind of just all avalanched from there. And Nora was a ghost at that con. I kind of last minute threw together. She just had like a sheet on, like a gossamer sheet, and I was in Holtzman street clothes, and then Liz here designed Nora's incredible costume.
So Slimer came into the family at a 3 a.m., really just bored, really intrigued on how somebody can build a puppet, if I can commission somebody into building a puppet, and found out that a company called Luna's Puppet built one of these and kept it in storage, couldn't sell it for whatever, so I ended up purchasing him, and he showed up 2 weeks later in my front doorstep.
I've been a Ghostbuster now. This is my 4th year doing it. I have invested, thousands of dollars into my get-up, traveling events. I've literally Ghostbusted now from coast to coast, from Los Angeles to New York City itself, and I'm still working on my gear. Even today, I'm working on my gear as I broke something coming here. This is a never-ending ordeal. Costumes are always evolving, props are always coming out, always new ways of doing things, always cool way of doing things. Some of us do as simple as just a flight suit and a belt. Some of us drive a car, for crying out loud, that matches what we do. So the time is quantifiable, and the same goes with how much money but it's all about the dedication. I mean, we're a charity group first and foremost, so I don't ask for $1 for what I do back. I'm doing this for the kids. We do 3 currently. The Laura Beatus Children's Hospital is our main one that's on the south side of Chicago. We do the Treehouse organization.
Treehouse Animal Shelter.
Thank you, the Treehouse Animal Shelter. And we also have done work for the Ronald McDonald House in Chicago as well. Throughout the weekend, starting tonight, Jose here will be reading to the children at the kids area, and I will be doing a slime dive where we'll be doing Ghostbusters trivia, and the people who answer right get to dive into a river of slime for items. Tomorrow night at 6:30, there will be a Ghostbusters panel hosted by myself, Christy Rave, and Steve Sandrowski, the haunted locations in the Chicagoland area, and then we're going to let people come up to the stage and tell their own ghost stories. So that'll be really cool. During the time, there will be groups of us that will be doing readings to the kids and dance parties and hanging out with the kids as well throughout the time. I just found out today, Ghostbusters Bingo being held somewhere. I just found out about that today.
We are on Facebook at Windy City Ghostbusters, and I think you can go to windycityghostbusters.com
and that redirects it.
Right, we're on Snapchat, we are on
Instagram. Twitter, Tumblr. We're on everything. You can follow us at Windy City GB, Windy City Ghostbusters, at Richo Cosplay. I mean, you can follow us anywhere.